I'm here for the simple reason to show support for a friend. Luckily, the president's supporters should know that he's actually in great spirits despite the circumstances of this.
I'm here today to represent and to pay my respects to what President Trump is going through. It's a tough time for him. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country, and we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year. That's all this is. The Republican candidate for President of the United States is going through mental anguish in a courtroom that's very depressing, very depressing.
Well, there you go. Some of Donald Trump's allies joined him in New York yesterday for his criminal hush money trial. Outside of court, they said what Trump can't because of the gag order in place on the former president. You just saw both Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio and Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama said they're just there to support a friend, but both then criticized Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen. Vance also attacked the judge's daughter, repeating unfounded claims made by the former president. Joining us now to talk about this spectacle, senior columnist for the Daily Beast, Matt Lewis. Matt, good morning to you. So let's talk about this. It was noted early in the first days of the trial that Trump didn't really have any supporters there at all, not even members of his family. That's changed. Eric Trump has been there a few times now. And now some bold-faced political names have also started to show up in recent days. What do you think? Is this, doing him? Why are they there? Are they just trying to further curry favor with the man who, I guess, could be president again?
Well, look, I think it's making the best out of a pretty bad situation. And as you noted, Donald Trump was able to launder his attacks on the judge, the witnesses, so that he doesn't directly violate the gag order. That's one reason for them to be there. I also think it does show activity, right? You've got Joe Biden, who is right now not doing great in the polls. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, people are coming to New York to kind of curry favor with him and to pay homage to him and kiss the ring. Some of these people are hoping to be ambassadors or maybe even a running mate for vice president. So he's stuck in New York. It's probably a smart move for him.
So let's talk a little bit more about the trial. You've got a new piece in the Daily Beast with the headline, Michael Cohen is no hero. Cohen, of course, the former fixer who testified yesterday, back to the stand in just a few hours' time. Tell us about what you wrote.
Right. Well, look, obviously, Michael Cohen is the star witness in this trial. I think there's even a potential that this may be the only trial we get before the election, and maybe it will be the one that takes Donald Trump down. And if you don't like Donald Trump, that's all good news. I just want to caution my friends in the media and the Never Trump movement and the quote unquote resistance, however they define themselves, that Michael Cohen's not a good guy. This is someone who worked for over a decade for Donald Trump. According to testimony he gave to Congress, he attacked something like 500 people on behalf of Donald Trump. Now it seems that Michael Cohen is on some sort of a rehabilitation tour. He's got a podcast. He's got books. He's pitching a reality show. And I think this is his maybe opportunity to parlay that into something, his 15 minutes into something even bigger. So, look, if he can be helpful to this cause, by all means, cheer him on. If you're rooting for Donald Trump to be finally taken down, I don't think we should make Michael Cohen into a hero. And that would be the one outcome of this that I think would be negative. He's not a hero. He's a bad guy. And I think he'd still be working for Donald Trump as his fixer if things had gone differently.
Yeah, he has more or less said as much. And certainly he has real credibility issues, which we know the defense will try to take advantage of in the days ahead. Matt, let's talk about the state of the race. You mentioned the polls. There was a series of New York Times, Santa College battleground state polls yesterday that were pretty favorable for Trump, although certainly those in the blue wall states, very close race, margin of error. And depending on other surveys, Biden up in a few. But we are seeing a trend here that, whether the margins are a little fluid, but down in the Sun Belt, Georgia, Arizona, and even Nevada, Trump showing real strength, Biden weakness. Give us your overall sense of the picture here.
I think it's gloomy. The Sun Belt is gloomy if you were Joe Biden. And Jonathan, I think what's really concerning here is that if you look at some of the Senate races, the Democrats running for the U.S. Senate are running ahead of Joe Biden. So that suggests to me like this isn't like a polling error. This isn't a, some sort of a structural problem with the sampling. This is a Joe Biden problem. And it's too late now to change horses in the middle of the stream or whatever that old cliche is. Democrats, it's going to be Joe Biden. I don't know how they turn it around. This is a Joe Biden problem. I guess acceptance is the first step. Democrats, be aware. This is not, it's not a poll problem. It's not a Democrat problem. It's a Joe Biden problem.
So let's link these two topics together. As you said, maybe this is the only trial that happens between now and the election. Let's say Trump is convicted, and maybe this trial is not as serious, quote unquote, as some of the others legal problems he faces, but it's still a conviction. Do you think that's going to matter at all?
I do think it would matter. Look, I think if you're Joe Biden and if you're Democrats, you shouldn't bank on that outcome. We have no idea actually. All it's going to take would be one juror for a hung jury. But I do think it would matter. I say pray as if it all depends on God, work as if it all depends on you. Biden, this should not factor into the calculus or the strategy of Democrats. But if it happens, if there is a conviction, then that's good news for you.
Yeah, Democrats not banking on it. But even if it just moves the race at a margins and a race this close, a point or two, that might make the difference. Senior columnist for the Daily Beast, Matt Lewis, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.